reports coming in from the continent that Roman Abramovich has sanctioned and given the green light to his board and his decision makers at Chelsea Football Club to bid up to £150 million for Erling Haaland this summer. It has long been reported that Chelsea are thinking about, working on, negotiating, putting together the structure to put a bid totaling £150 million in for Haaland. As said, reports from the continent this afternoon suggest that this has been sanctioned and signed off by Roman Abramovich to spend up to £150 million to bring the hottest property, the hottest striker in world football to Stamford Bridge this summer. And if we go up north, we're going to be looking at Liverpool and their pursuit of Saul Niguez. Atletico Madrid yesterday officially confirmed the signing of Rodrigo de Paul. This now means Atletico Madrid are willing to sell Saul Niguez for a fee in the region of £40 million. They are waiting the official bid to come in from Liverpool. Liverpool are still working on the negotiations in relation to personal terms, but that deal, along with Haaland to Chelsea, just moved a step closer. All that and much more to come on the Football Terrace. Hit that like button, hit that share button. Here we go. Welcome back to the Football Terrace. As reported, AS, along with a number of other publications, are pushing out the news right now that Roman Abramovich has given the green light and sanctioned Chelsea's £150 million bid for Haaland. This is brilliant news for Chelsea fans because that was what they're waiting for. They're waiting for the news of, are Chelsea willing to actually make this bid? And it appears now that they are. We have some interesting news coming tomorrow morning for you in relation to the blue half of Manchester and some bids they are about to put in for players. So it doesn't surprise me that Chelsea are going to look to motor forward with this deal now. Now, it's a long way from being a done deal. This has to be said. It's a long way still from being a done deal. Chelsea are very, very likely to try and still drive that price down from £150 million. You'll hear from sources close to Dortmund they won't accept anything less, but Chelsea would be stupid and they would be cowboys if they didn't try to drive that price down, would try to push that price down. So expect to see inquiries rather than bids, but essentially they're the same thing, of lower value than £150 million. But it has been reported, and it's down to you as to whether or not you believe this reports that are coming in from the likes of AS and, of course, the rest of the continent, that it's been signed off and sanctioned by Roman. But most people believe, when you listen to the Fabrizios of this world, when you listen to Patrick Berger, Jan Fjørtoft, none of them are going out on the limb to say Chelsea 110% will put an official bid in. But they keep dropping in that, Chelsea are working on a bid. 150 million or 175 million euros could get this deal done. Fabrizio only a week or so ago said that, Chelsea fans should remain relaxed, be relaxed. Something big is coming this summer. Lots of people think they're going to put this bid in at some point. And why would they not? They're going to try and land this deal. It's moved just a little step closer today. And I want to know how you're feeling as Chelsea fans towards this. And Liverpool supporters, confirmation is in. Confirmation is in now. Atletico Madrid have signed Rodrigo de Paul. More competition in the middle. Saul Niguez is up for moving away. He likes the idea of playing in the Premier League. He's excited by the idea of being able to come and play for Jurgen Klopp, play for Liverpool, playing in front of the Kop. It's just down to you now sorting out the terms, getting a deal that can be done and put in place. We have a big Yuri Tillemans update coming tomorrow morning as well, which I think works in conjunction very much with this Saul Niguez deal. Interestingly, the reports are, and I've already done the interview, it's pre-recorded, it's coming out tomorrow. We've got to hold it back because of some embargoes on some of the news. But essentially, what was said, and I will reveal this now, is the deal for Yuri Tillemans could cost about 20, even up to as high as £30 million more in terms of transfer fee. So yes, Yuri Tillemans might be £100,000 a week cheaper in terms of salary, but the deal might cost you 20 to 30 million pound more in initial fees. Agents take between 7.5% and 10%. So that's an additional 3, 4, 5 million pound on top of that as well. It could still be the cheaper option to go for Saul Niguez. And in my opinion, the better option because he's a better player. But I want your thoughts and your feelings on that. We're going to share the link right now for you to come on and have your say in relation to these deals and to talk any other matters that are currently going on in the world of football. Still lots of fallout after the disgusting behavior of some of the England fans, both at the game in terms of breaking into the stadium, the hooliganism that went along with it, and of course the heinous, disgusting, the disgraceful treatment of Saka, Sancho, and Marcus Rashford. We're still taking calls on that. We still want to know what people, are feeling like towards that situation as well. But make sure that like button's being hit right now. Getting close to 1,000 viewers, which is amazing, which is humbling. However, let's get it past 500 likes while we are live on the air. I have shared the link now for you to call in. I'm going to pin that comment to the top. But I want to do some of your messages first and foremost here. Daniel here says, most fans here are Chelsea fans. Listen, the Football Terrace has an amazing Chelsea following. Very, very proud that we've been able to build it and that we have the conversations that we do. William here says, we will get Haaland, is what William thinks. I'm assuming you're a Chelsea fan, but you may support somebody else. Terry, Michael Zork earlier said about Haaland earlier that he's in England. Was he being sarcastic or real? 100% being sarcastic. What I found very intriguing that he was very willing to laugh about that. I'm telling you now, Dortmund want this deal to go through this summer. Dortmund want this deal to go through, but they're never going to say it publicly in case it doesn't. They have to look Haaland in the eye. I almost feel like it's I feel it reminds me of, right? I think it's like you got an husband and a wife and they've been together a while. They respect each other, but they're not in love. And the wife, she's met a really nice guy at work. She thinks he's cute and he's funny and he makes her excited. And she really wants to be with him. But she doesn't want to break her husband's heart. Her husband, though, he's met a girl at work and they get on really well. He gets little butterflies in his belly before he sees her. Whenever his phone goes off and she texts him, he just gets excited. Whenever the 3 little dots appear on the messages because she's replying, his little belly goes, ooh, like this. And he really wants to be with her. But he doesn't want to end it with his wife because he respects her. He doesn't want to break her heart. Both want to leave. Both want the same thing, but they're just not saying it to each other's face in case it goes wrong. And they have to, that awkward stare over cornflakes. Imagine the gig's like, listen, I'm leaving. Met a lady at work. And then the lady at work's like, no, this is just a bit of fun. You better go home to your wife. That's what's going on here. I'm telling you. Both want this deal to happen. It is blatantly obvious. It's honestly, I love tier ones. Tier one journalists are the best of me because they give us good information. But it's just, I want your opinion. I want to know what you think. Who do you think has told Patrick Berger and Jan Furatov? Who do you think's told them that 175 would be enough? It's Dortmund, bruv. Dortmund, and then they always throw that little. But their stance is they're planning for him next season, bruv. Listen, KJ is planning on being with the Football Terrace next season. But if Mark Goldbridge asked him, which by the way he should have asked him, he 100% should have come for KJ and said, "I want you to be Flex's replacement." I'm sorry to say this, KJ, but I'm going to smack you in the mouth if you don't say yes. Legit, bruv. I'm gonna backhand, dry slap backhand. Like, why would you turn down such an opportunity? Now, I wouldn't get a transfer fee, but still, the logic's the same. Why would Haaland not want to step up? Of course he does. Why would Dortmund not want 150 million pounds in the bank? They're a fucking selling club. Let's just have it blunt. I ain't talking to a journalist or a professional right now. I'm talking to my people. Of course they want to do it. Of course. KJ's on a lifetime contract with the Terrace. Listen, I want KJ to stay forever. I've got plans for KJ. Big plans for my KJ. I'm just saying. KJ to the United stand. Here we go. Listen, it's funny, really. I don't like talking about other people's personal lives, but like there are people that are involved in the Terrace that are doing all sorts of other things, great things at the minute with proper big networks and other YouTube channels and whatever. And one of the ladies was like, "Oh, this channel's come and spoke to me," and I'm just like, "Listen, you go do your thing. You go better yourselves, 110%. If it's a better option for you, go and do it. Go and do it." I love seeing people, especially working class. No disrespect to the middle classes and the rich and all that, but I love seeing working class people do well from any country, from any part of the world. I love seeing a working class person do well. Someone who grew up. Do you know what I mean? And do you know what? Like, I don't know how to express this in the right way, but you know the amount of time some of the richer kids where I grew up, especially when I moved to Essex, would be like, "Oh, we were all going Nando's, Terry. Do you want to come?" And it was like I said no and gave an excuse because I knew my mum and dad didn't have any money to give me to go. It was like, "No, I can't. I'm busy." What I meant is my mum and dad are so broke. Like my mum, we were so poor at one point. Our dishwasher broke and it leaked, right? And we had this like lino floor in the kitchen and all the water went underneath it. If you walked in our kitchen with socks or bare feet, you got wet feet. Like you had to wear shoes inside because the floor was mangled. I'm telling you, it was like that for a year. I swear to God, I imagined it, right? I had some friends come over and I was like, yeah, they can't stay at my house. Like, well, imagine your friend walks down the stairs at night and goes into the kitchen for a drink and gets wet feet. Come on. That's how poor I was. My kitchen floor was wet, bruv, all the time. So, yeah, I love seeing working class people do well, 100%. You're not poor if you had a dishwasher. I swear to you. Listen, there's levels to it. There's levels to it. I don't even know why there was a dishwasher in the house, but there was. There's different levels to it, but there was just no money. There was just none. It is what it was. I remember my dad bought me a new bag for school once, and it was like a no branded bag from like you get those shops in the high street that sell shoes and bags, but like it's all just cheap. And I remember he brought it home, and because I had an Umbro bag, and the straps broke. One strap broke, so I wore one over my shoulder, and then that broke. Honest to God, I spent like 3 hours sewing it back on. I'm like, I'd rather have a sewed up bag than wear that bag to school because I didn't want to get bullied. Yeah, life was hard growing up, but there we go. Anyway, I digress. Terry, why are there loads of reports saying that it's going to be mission impossible? It's going to be a very, very difficult deal for Chelsea to get done. It just is. These kind of deals are not quick and they're not easy. Is it mission impossible though? No, I don't quite. It's hard. It's a hard deal. The overall package to get the money, the structure together with Dortmund. The personal terms are not going to be an issue, but the wages and everything structured with Mino Raiola. Plus, there's still a lot of murkiness and blurred understandings of the new FFP situation. Chelsea have also got to sell players and get them out to free up money. So all these things play a part. So that's what makes it difficult. But I've seen people say, if Chelsea bid 175 euros, Dortmund will say yes. And then literally in the same tweet say, but it's mission impossible. How does that make any sense? How is it mission impossible if Dortmund accept £150 or 175 mil euros? It ain't, is it? It's just bid it. Now, the reports this afternoon, this isn't my source. I don't have a source on this. They've said that Roman's now sanctioned this bid. We'll see if it goes in. It's as simple and as straightforward as that for me. But is it mission impossible? Absolutely no way, shape, or form. Declan here says, Haaland is on his way, Terry. Do you think Chelsea will win the league next year or retain the Champions League? Great question. If Chelsea sign Haaland, legit, if they sign Haaland and depends on what City do. Depends on what Manchester City do. If City don't get Jackie Grealish or Hazard Kane, then Chelsea win the league. Then Chelsea win the league for me. No shadow of a doubt. No shadow of a doubt. My guy Martin here says, let's pay his fee back in shirt sales. Listen, the shirt sales will go up. There's no doubt about it. Roman wants, Roman gets. Invariably, this is true. We put a poll up. We put the big question up earlier on the show here that says, who will have the best summer? Man United, Arsenal, Liverpool, or Chelsea? Currently, Chelsea winning the poll. Nearly 1,000 people have voted. Chelsea winning with 58% of the vote. What's being said here? You're claiming this based on no supporting articles or anything. You think I've made up this bit of news this afternoon? I don't make things up, bro. Just go on Tinternet. You think I made it up? No, no, no. You don't love me, and I know now. I love it when people say that, to be fair. Oh, you guys are all ripping into it. I love reading your. Sometimes I could sit here and just read your comments for an hour, make me die. We're gonna start going to some calls now to have our to let you have your say on this transfer news. Let's get this stream past 500 likes while we're live on the air. Sound against to Liverpool. Haaland to Chelsea. I want to hear from you. First up, we're going to get Chris. Chris M ain't been on in a while. You know, Chris M is a gooner. Looking forward to speaking to my guy right now. Chris, welcome back to the terrace. What you saying, my bro?
Yeah, Liverpool, you made a bit of a mistake there, Terry.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
No, you know, no, I know, you know. Don't worry about it.
Go on,
Saul Niguez. Yeah, man. Nah, I think is out of all the guys we've been linked to this summer, and it's been a lot, by the way, a lot of midfielders. I think it's the best. I think it's the most sensible. I think it's the most Liverpool signing. Is around 40 million. Saul Niguez is a terrific footballer. He's kind of stagnated last season, but to be fair, who hasn't in a COVID season? I think we've got a real talent on our hands if we get him, because he's left-footed, and I think only 2, maybe 3 people in our squad are left-footed. We need a lot of left-footed midfielders. I feel that he fulfills that quota. We need a long shot specialist. I think he can fulfill that as well. And more importantly, he's durable. Like, that's something we haven't had in a long time in that midfield section, because we've got Ox, we've got Keita. These guys are unreliable. And when you are replacing Gini Wijnaldum, who is pretty much the definition of availability, you need to replace him with someone who's reliable and talented, and someone who can fill in that space, no problem, and who can answer to instructions, because this guy's been directed by Simeone. And, you know, you have to be very disciplined to play under Simeone. And I feel like Jurgen Klopp, he loves those people who can follow instructions. And I feel Saul can do that for us. And it's just a great signing, man. It's just a great signing. I'm terrific. I'm happy if we get him.
Yeah, and listen, I'm, as a Manchester United fan, I'm not happy that you get him, because it would be the 3rd time that Jurgen Klopp has done this to me. He did it with Mane, and then Fabinho, and now you can down Niguez. And one thing I know you've been watching the terrace for a while. If I rate a player today because he's linked with Man United, if he then signs to one of my biggest rivals tomorrow, I don't do that punk ass thing where I suddenly start finding all the flaws. Saul Niguez is a top class player. I actually think he's one of the most underrated football players.
100%. He signed a 9-year contract. Like, these guys rated him at Atletico. Like, this guy, you don't sign a 9-year contract if you're just a dead baller. Like, he's gonna be a great signing if we can pull this off, in my opinion. 100%.
Yeah, he is. It's going to be a colossal signing. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. And you'll all see an update in the Done Deal show first thing tomorrow morning. That's coming out. The situation with Yuri Tillemans is really interesting, because Leicester look like they don't want to sell either him or James Maddison. They're going to push the prices up higher. So the talk at the end of last week, when I spoke to, we had Peter O'Rourke on that spoke to the representatives of Saul Niguez, and they'd confirmed the interest from Liverpool. The kind of stumbling block was the 300,000 euros a week, so the 230, 240 pounds he's earning. But the fact that you may be able to pick him up for between 40 and 50 million euros, it mitigates that, because actually Yuri Tillemans might cost you 60 million pound in transfer fee. Yes, he only wants probably about 150,000 pound a week in salary, but actually it's going to be more expensive over.
It's going to be more expensive.
So it's one of those deals now where you look at Liverpool and it's a case of weighing this up. Liverpool are weighing up multiple options. That there's still some talks with. You still have some conversation. Obviously, Basuma is another option you're loosely linked to. Saul Niguez is there. There's Yuri Tillemans. There is another name as well.
Renato Sanchez.
Renato Sanchez as well, which is also one to look at, which Spurs have now started to make inquiries into. One thing I will say, though, that is big BS. There was a report that came out of Spain yesterday that said that Liverpool have had a bid turned down for 40 million euros. This is just categorically not true. Liverpool will not submit a bid, an official bid to be rejected or accepted until Saul Niguez agrees the personal terms. Once that is done, then Liverpool will submit it. So any kind of reports of bid being rejected, they're BSing Liverpool fans massively, because that simply isn't the case at all.
Fair play.
That isn't the case at all. Listen, Chris, thank you very much for
wait, Terry, one more thing, man. I was on Midnight Vibes yesterday, yeah, man. You got to talk to these guys about their Liverpool agendas, man. With my Thiago, they put him on the fraud 11. Come on, man.
Did they? I didn't know this. You know what it is? The thing with me is, when obviously people have shows on the channel, they get complete autonomy, so they can kind of do what they want. Yeah. And I didn't know they, because also I got to bed. I actually I get some sleep at that time, so I'm never awake. Even though they're from earlier. I'll have a chat with Pastor KJ and see what's being said.
Yeah,
they have on last night? So they had Tans on, they had Lambs, they had Kendall. Yeah. I'm just reading all those names off my top of my head. None of them are going to say good things about Liverpool, in my opinion. Listen, Chris, my brother, thanks for coming on, having you.
No worries, man. Thank you for having me on, man.
Take care, mate. Thank you very much indeed. Johnny Blue Boy in the house there in the comments. What's going on, Johnny Blue Boy? Says Haaland to Chelsea. I see what you're doing there. I like that. Anyone wants to phone up and have their say, the link is in the live comment section. Terry, you still haven't told us his main strengths. Whose main strengths? Saul Niguez. Do you need me to read? Do you need me to read them out? Do you want me to give you what I think his main strengths are? Do you really want me to do that? What's it worth? What's it worth to read out his main strengths? You not think I know? It's his passing ability. It's his defensive stability. It's his versatility. The way he dominates that left-hand side. Of course, he may be left-footed. I believe he's left-footed. If I've got that wrong, then I'm an idiot. But he can use the right foot. He's not someone that's so reliant on one side. He can play predominantly as a central midfield player. He's got active defensive capabilities, like I've said. But if he needs to push forward in a more box-to-box role, he's highly capable. He can cover in wide positions if needed. And that's going to be massively important when it comes to the Liverpool setup. And I'll tell you as to why. Because Liverpool's main source of creativity comes from their flanks. So when you've got a central midfielder that's going to have to cover those areas that they leave and exploit in wide areas, you've got a person that can do that both on offensive and a defensive element, which you had massively with Gini Wijnaldum. I actually think Saul Niguez could be an upgrade on that. He can dribble, he can pass, he's got vision, his passing range in itself is excellent, long, short, one-touch, two-touch football. He can be disciplined when you need him to be you could be 1-0 up away at Man City, and he can sit there in a system and be disciplined, very compact, very rigid. He can also be far more expansive in the way that he wants to play. We see that more so when he's been on international duty in the past, as opposed to playing for Diego Simeone's team. There's lots of strings to the bow of him. And I think the biggest thing I would say is that he can specialize in roles, but he's top class when he has to be versatile as well. He's not a jack of all trade, a master of none. He's a master central midfielder who is brilliant in a multitude of positions as well. So if that helps, then there you go, my brother. That would be my breakdown of him off the top of my head. Lauren learnt her trade and is now making the step up to a big club. Why don't I understand this? Why is it not ringing a bell with me? I don't get it. Oh, Lauren James. I do get it now. Right, Lauren James. That's what you're talking about. Lauren James, right? She left. She gone to Chelsea now. Okay, there we go. At first, I was like, my brain went, and then I got it. Who we got here? Breaking news: Chelsea women agree a fee for. Okay, if I'd have read this super chat first, that would have made a lot of sense to me. There we go. The Jameses both at Chelsea. Interesting indeed. Next on the show, I'm going to go to Ziad. Ziad is a Chelsea fan. What you saying, bro?
How's it going, Terry?
Yeah, very, very well. What you here to say? My friend?
Yeah, man, I'm just happy this Haaland deal is finally making a move. A couple of weeks ago, it was all about, are we going to pay? What deal will Dortmund accept, and how much will it be? And I'm just happy it's all finally getting a move on. So we know how much we need to pay in terms of, say, 150 million pounds, and then this talks about Raiola, him wanting 40 million. we know Dortmund will sell now because they've given a price. So I'm just happy he's making a move. But I still think it's going to be a very, very long time until we sign Haaland, because as much as we know the player wants to come, and with a certain price Dortmund would sell, Raiola seems like he's going to be very, very, very difficult. And for him to really want 40 million in itself, I don't think. I'm struggling with to come to the fact that Roman will pay that just for an agent fees. Gone.
So I think we need to be mindful about the agent fees. And when I say that, I from this point of view, when Man United signed Pogba, there was around £40 million of agent fees to be paid. It didn't transpire till afterwards that 40 odd million pound came out of the transfer fee. So yes, Man United paid it, but they just paid an inflated transfer price. Instead of maybe paying £45 million for Pogba, they paid 89 million. So this is what we don't know yet. Dortmund are never going to try and make this public. Chelsea won't care if it's the other way around. You may find that out of the £150 million you pay, 40 million of that ends up going to Roman. Does that make sense? That's how a lot of those deals sometimes work. And that's not Roman, sorry. It goes to Mino Raiola. And this is why I'm intrigued to see if that's true, because it would be further proof that the big clubs that didn't go in for Haaland for £20 million from RB Salzburg were right to. I believe Dortmund have taken a calculated risk. When you sign a player like Haaland for £20 million, you put a buyout clause in of 65 million, but there's also, I think if you sell him outside of that buyout clause, there's a huge fee that goes to Mino Raiola. I don't like the idea of those deals for my football club because you're eating into a lot of your cash. I do agree with you, though. If it is a separate fee, that would take this transaction potentially up to £190 million before you paid any salary. That could break things down. That could stop things from happening. Maybe Mino Raiola would take that payment over the length of the contract. Maybe there's a way of structuring that and breaking it down and getting it done. Mino Raiola, well, one thing Mino Raiola will not want to do is piss off Haaland. And Haaland is intrigued and he likes the idea of coming to play for Chelsea. And if Chelsea put in that official bid and Haaland actually starts to get excited about it, Mino Raiola is not going to risk losing. I would say, barring Mbappe, Haaland is going to make more money for agents than any other player, barring Mbappe, for the next 10 years. I don't think Mino Raiola is going to do something stupid enough to cost himself more money in the long term. Does that make sense? Because in 3 or 4 more years' time, he might be leaving Chelsea. He'll be getting huge endorsements. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. Roman's clearly a very shrewd and clever businessman. So are the likes of Marina and everybody else. But it's certainly nice, I think, from a Chelsea point of view now to see this motoring forward, really gathering pace, getting some legs as well. Ziad, great call, mate. Thanks for coming on the show and having your say. Really appreciate it, buddy. Thank you. Next up, we're going to go to Vivishwan, who's a Liverpool fan. Welcome back to the terrace. Saul Niguez, move closer. Give me your thoughts.
I'll be excited if we get this deal over and done with. He's a quality midfielder. He's a complete midfielder. Versatility as well. Could cover up if any of our midfielders get injured. And yeah, I want this deal over and done with. Like, I don't want any time to waste. I want to get him soon in a Liverpool shirt so I can start pre-season with him. And then hopefully he could start in our midfield for next season. Like, he's a quality midfielder.
He's top class, mate. He's top class. And as I said already on the show, as a Man United fan, I'd be gutted. Where do you see him fitting in? Like for like replacement for Gini, that left-hand side of midfield three? Or do you think there's maybe the anglings of Klopp to change things up next season? What's your thoughts?
I feel like next season will be loads of rotations. Like in that left-hand side where Gini used to play, you might see Curtis Jones step up in some games there. But I see Saul being majority, especially he's left-footed. We can now possibly see a combination with him and Robertson down that left-hand side. So yeah, I feel like Saul will be the main one. But I won't be surprised if Curtis Jones will sometimes play the games there. And yeah, Mustafa says it right there. That midfield will be dangerous.
And let me ask you about that midfield as a Liverpool fan. Is that the best midfield in the league?
We'll see. I won't judge it next. It depends what Thiago will get. If we get the Thiago of Bayern Munich, then possibly we have the best midfielder in the league.
Could be there. Vivishwan, thank you very much for coming on, mate, and having your say. Really appreciate it, bro. Top man. Thank you. If Liverpool bring in Saul Niguez, do they then have the best midfield in the Premier League? Pogba looking like he's on his way out. maybe a little bit of rotation within the ranks and settings at Manchester City. Where does it rank in your opinions? Looking at the poll that we've currently got up on here now, so who will have the best summer transfer window? Chelsea have smashed that poll. It's coming to an end now. 55% of the vote goes to Chelsea. Chelsea fans think they are going to have the best window out there. I'm going to start a new poll very, very soon indeed. Next caller I'm going to go to is going to be Monsieur Ahmed, another Liverpool fan in the house. What are you saying, Monsieur?
Hi, Terry. When the allowance super chat came up, I've never seen you so speechless. Like, you're lost for words until you remembered what the super chat was about. But yeah, I've been saying it. Saul Niguez will be an excellent asset. It's confirmed that Rodrigo de Paul's gone to Atletico Madrid on a 5-year deal. So that kind of signals that, you know what, there is some kind of talks and some kind of meetings going on about Saul Niguez. And the Strongs is just getting stronger and stronger. The link is just getting stronger and stronger. If I was to answer your question about when you answered the previous caller, when you asked the previous caller if it's the best midfield, in terms of talent, it's possibly up there with it as a best midfield. In terms of talent, I'm saying. Obviously, when it comes to fitting in and playing together, that will have to remain as to be seen. But what we do have is a versatile midfield as well that could play probably any formation. Last few seasons, we've been playing a 3 in mid. We could go to a 5. We could go to a 4. So I can see a lot of versatility in that midfield. And yeah, get that done deal before the season starts. And we're going to win the league. Yeah, I'm going to say it.
Liverpool fans getting gassed in the house. Monsieur Ahmed, thanks for coming on and having your say. Look at that. 2 Liverpool fans running best midfield in the league. They're going to win the league. The poll's up now, by the way. The second big question of the evening is, would Fabinho, Thiago, and Saul be the best midfield in the Premier League? Currently, 75% are saying no in the polls. If you're a Liverpool fan, share the link for this stream now with all your Liverpool friends, all your Liverpool family. Get them on to come and vote. Back your team. You can also get your super chats in as well. All super chats over the value of £5 will go into our prize draw for you to win a football shirt of your choice at the end of the month. Prize draw for June coming very, very soon indeed. Tell you why it took me a long time. I sat down this afternoon, started writing down the names of the super chats that qualify. It's a lot of names. So I'm just putting them all down. And some people like Mark Neighbour, his name's already in the hat about 35 times. So I've got to do it manually. There's no way of doing it. So I am going to be getting that other prize draw done soon. Of course, Ginger Fury and D1 both got their shirts at the end of May. So we obviously, these are legitimate competitions. And we 100% back, always back our viewers. Some of you are weird in what you're saying here. Why he blocked? Who's blocked? Who's blocked? Who's blocked? I don't know what you mean. I love questions like that. Sometimes I love seeing a question that will come up on these shows and it's like, why is this the case? And I'm like, I don't know context. I need context on this. Trust the what? Trust the floses. Is that? I don't know what that means. But anyway, what does that say? My brain don't work. I don't get it. Anyway, it says, Terry, how quickly we forgot about Kante and Jorginho. Listen, I didn't say they were the best. I'm posing the question based on feedback and information that you, the viewers, give to me. It's a poll. It's a poll. Look at me as Mr. Devil's Advocate. That's what I do. I ask the questions. Not every question I ask is an endorsement of my opinion. I know who the best midfield is in the Prem. We know who the best midfield is in the Prem. Of course we know who the best midfield is in the Prem. You cannot look beyond McFred. No, but I'm just saying, like, my questions are not an endorsement of my opinions. Chelsea always playing the 12 with 12 players on the field. Are you saying you pay the refs? Is it you suggesting you pay refs? I don't know. Or is that because Kante's as good as 2 players? What's the context of that, Lee? I would love to understand it. Solomon says, no goals or assists from that midfield. How is it the best midfield when City and United get goals and assists? Listen, that's a great question for the audience or anyone who's voted yes. For me, I have not made a statement, so I cannot answer that question. Solomon, my brother. David says, it could defo be one of the best. Like the idea of our Pogba, Bruno, Camavinga. That'd be quality as well. I actually think Bruno, Camavinga, Pogba, just as good on the ball as those three collectively. More goals, more athleticism. Chelsea fans here saying Mount J5 and who's Kante? Who's he? Never heard of him. Never ever heard of Kante. Not in my life. Terry, can a member ask a question for a poll for the right price? What do you mean? Like super chat in and we make your question a poll? If you want to do that, we can make it a thing. Not something I thought of, but yeah. The way we tend to do this on the terrace, because we like to pay respect, if someone wants to super chat in and ask to do a poll, we'll do it. And then we set that as the benchmark for everybody else, not to be disrespectful. So we used to do that with the tiering shows. A few people are like, oh, Terry, how come you set those benchmarks? I didn't. The viewers did. And then you have to maintain those benchmarks. Otherwise, it's disrespectful. So imagine right now, Twisted, you're like, I want to pay £10 to do a poll. I say, okay. How wrong would it be for me to take £2 off someone tomorrow to do a poll? I think that'd be wrong. So you set the viewers can set the benchmarks. That's like, what's that word? Democracy. Like a bit of democracy. Here we go. A lot of people. Hello, tier 1 Terry. Listen, this ain't my report today, but there we go. We're nearly on 500 likes, people. Keep it going. More callers. I'm going to go to CFC Beast on the show next. Welcome back to the terrace. What do you want to say?
Thank you, Terry, for letting me on. Hope everything's well.
Yeah, all good, brother.
So, obviously, I've heard the Haaland news, and one thing I've heard, and I don't think you've reported it yet, but it's that if we sign Haaland, it's the only marquee signing we'll get, or the only signing, and that's it. So, like for 150 million, it's exactly what we need, because we as a Chelsea fan, I've seen Werner, Havertz, Mount, Pulisic all miss chances this season that if an Erling Haaland will help us to achieve. And if we want to be title challenging next season, we're gonna need that kind of striker or a goal scorer at some sort. So it's a great signing. It's just I feel like we do need to strengthen. I do want another DM, not to replace Jorginho, but as a destroyer, a guy like Kante sitting, basically a guy that can tackle and has a very strong presence in the base of midfield. And as much as I do want a striker, when there's Lukaku for £85 million, and then you can buy him and I don't know, a Tchouaméni or a Kamara, or I feel like that's the better deal. But I'm not against Haaland at all.
Yeah, listen, I understand. I think that's logical, as you say. It's two birds with one stone. I just think it's Roman. Roman wants Haaland so much. That'll be revealed. We've got a big update coming tomorrow morning on this. But Roman is the man driving it. So that's why, as a Chelsea fan, I've been telling you all to remain relaxed, because it's Roman Abramovich who is pushing this agenda even harder than Tuchel. Tuchel wants him, but not as much as Roman. Do you know what I mean? It's a mad one, bro. Listen, great call as ever, CFC Beast. Look forward to speaking to you again. Top man. Thank you. Next on the show, we're going to go to Nick Toller. Nick Toller, Chelsea fan. Welcome back to the terrace.
Hey, Terry. How you going, man?
Give me your thoughts.
What, sorry?
That deal's moving closer. Give me your thoughts.
Oh, I'm just jumping, man. I just can't wait for it. You know how they say slow and steady wins the race. And I think that's the same logic we can apply with Erling Haaland, man. And this marquee signing is game-changing. I've said it before. I'll say it again. It shakes up the league. It'll completely flip it on its head. We have the potential to build something long-term for the future, which is not something Chelsea Football Club have generally done, right? We've always been chasing short-term success. Saka manager, hire, fire, bam, signing in left, right, and centre. But Erling Haaland is definitely one for the future, man. And we can just build a team around him. And he gives us that ability to score goals, to close games out, to be lethal, which is something we have lacked as a team. And man, I just can't wait for this signing to come through. It's just a matter of time. It's, we just got to be patient. We just got to ride it. There won't be as much news coming out here. There'll be a couple rumors, if buts or maybes. But when it comes out, man, I'm just going to be jumping.
Yeah, and as and when this deal lands, it's the ricochets, the ripples, the aftershocks of Chelsea signing Haaland for £150 million.
It's going to be insane for the league. Like, it's just going to flip things on its head.
It's going to resonate. It's going to vibrate. And everybody's juices are going to be flowing for the new campaign. It's almost like why I want it to happen sooner rather than later on a personal level, because it's 3.5 weeks now until the Premier League begins, the 13th of August on the Friday night. And if you've got a Haaland at Chelsea, a Kane at City, Sancho at Man United, Saul Niguez going into Liverpool, to name just 4 deals.
Exactly. That's
maybe Rafael Varane. I mean, interestingly, on Rafael Varane, just as an update, Fabrizio Romano has said this afternoon, and I quote, Rafael Varane would love to move to the Premier League and join Manchester United. And if that happens, again, we're all going to be buzzing. We're all going to be excited about our own teams. But at the same time, if we just take our bias hats off for a minute, it's like I'm looking for my team's improved, but so have all my rivals. What a Premier League season we could be in for. Do you know what I want to happen, bruv? You see, in the last 2 or 3 seasons, we've had amazing top 4 races.
Yeah, exactly.
I want that for the title. I want an amazing title.
It.
That's what I want now.
The competition.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I want. To be honest with you, as a content creator, I would rather 4 teams fight out for if Man United can't walk the league, I'd rather 4 teams fight out for it, and it just becomes like an amazing, just like an amazing spectacle to watch.
So close, right?
If that makes sense, that's what I want, mate. But Nick, as ever, great call. Thanks for coming on the terrace, mate, and having your say. Speak to you again soon. Top man. Thank you. Next, we're going to go to Donny James next. Donny James in the house. Welcome back to the terrace. What's on your mind, Donny?
Hey, mate. Well, since our match got cancelled, first of all, I've been keeping myself busy. I was on Midnight Vibes last night for a bit, called in, and big up to the panel. Sorry to Kendall for saying that Richie Wellens will batter Steve Bruce on the 23rd of July. I've gone confident in that match. But no, I kept myself busy today. I got some Champions League qualifiers to watch, and in between filming at the minute, so I'm going to go back to filming once I've finished. Very interesting deals. Very interesting movements on the Haaland situation. I think that, like you said, Terry, I think with Haaland, with Varane, with Saul, with Sancho, with all these deals, it's as an outsider, I'm looking into it thinking, oh my God, this is going to be a fantastic Premier League season. And also take into account that there's going to be a few surprise finishes in there as well. Brentford's going to want to do well in their first season in like 70 odd years. Norwich will want to try and prove a point. Watford are going to want to try and prove a point. And I've seen Norwich and Watford and Brentford play last season in the Championship. Trust me, you're in for a shock. You're going to be in for some entertainment with Brentford, especially. In terms of Saul, I think he's perfect for Liverpool. I'm kind of like you, Terry. I think if someone that was linked with my club joined a rival, I wouldn't start picking out flaws in him. I'd be, just praising it and giving the rivals their credit. And I think that Saul would do very well for Liverpool's midfield. I mean, Fabinho, Thiago, and Saul, that's immediately at least a top 4 midfield, at least. Haaland to Chelsea, mate, if this goes ahead, that just made it even more exciting. And Harry Kane, it should be interesting to see where he goes. But overall, I think the transfer window is really hotting up now. And, I'm excited for my club. You're excited for your club. Everyone's excited for their clubs. Big up yourself, Terry. Big up the terrace. Kendall, I apologise, but Steve Bruce is getting it July 23rd.
Listen, top man, Donny James, speak to you again soon. All the best. Who are we going to next? We're going to do some more calls on the show. Sage here says, who needs Haaland when this guy, Paul Kendall, get me Dan James? I don't think he has, Paul Kendall. Kendall, if you're watching... Kendall, have you got something to tell us? Kendall, are you and Donny James? I didn't know that. Say, Kendall and Donny James. Are you telling me that's a thing now? Wow. Okay. He'll definitely be faithful. That's one thing I will say. Next on the show, So many callers tonight. It's amazing. I love it when the phone lines are full. I was about to go to Ram, but Ram just disappeared. So instead of Ram, I'm going to go to CFC Ed. What you saying, Eddie boy?
Yes, Terry, big up the terrace. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very, very well. Give me your take on the latest updates in relation to Haaland.
Yeah, I just want to get this deal done. Like, we need, for me, we need to get it done by the middle of August, because I look at our other rivals, Man United strengthening with the signings of Sancho, Varane looking close. Man City, you know what they're going to do, and Liverpool probably get Saul Niguez. And not only that, but our first 6 fixtures of the season are really tough, and particularly the first 3 where we played Liverpool and Arsenal away. We need to have Haaland for that, because we should be challenging for the title next season, and we cannot be missing the chances that we were last season in those 3 games. So I just really want that Haaland deal done, and you know what he's going to bring to us. He's going to bring goals, guaranteed, and even if it means we have to sell him in 3 or 4 years' time, I would take it, because he'll probably leave for 250 million, and we end up getting the next best striker then. So yeah, that's the way I look at it.
Yeah, listen, and I think there's so many upsides to this from a Chelsea point of view. Even if you only get 3 or 4 years out of him, I think you're going to get 3 or 4 years of the best young striker in the world. He's the greatest 21-year-old striker that Europe has ever produced, ever in the history of the world, or at least since the war and records begun, because the level of goals he's got at his age since his first appearance is astronomical. His Champions League record is out of this world. And at Chelsea, with the Tuchel system, with the creative players that you've got, brother, it's like printing. It's like, well, I don't know what the expression is. If it was a business, you'd say it's like printing money, right? Which is illegal. Yeah. So it's like making your own trophies. They don't sound as good as printing money, but you get my point. I'm not too sure what the expression would be. It shouldn't be allowed. Chelsea and Tuchel shouldn't be allowed to add Haaland to whatever else it is that they've got, mate. It's going to be ridiculous if indeed this deal goes through. Listen, Ed, great call. Thanks for coming on the terrace and having your say. Just a big recap for anybody that's tuning in. So the Saul Niguez update is very, very simple. Atletico Madrid have confirmed and made the signing of Rodrigo de Paul. This means there's more competition for that midfield. Saul Niguez is a player they are willing to sell this summer. Reports coming out of Spain today are suggesting that a deal could be done for a sum in the region of 40 million euros. This is something that at the back end of last week, Liverpool and Atletico Madrid had conversations about. Nobody quite knows whether that's via an intermediary or direct, but it doesn't matter at all. Either which way, it ends up in the same result. Liverpool know how much it's going to cost them to get the player. The stumbling block that's holding this up is the personal terms with Saul Niguez. He's on 300,000 euros a week. If Liverpool were to offer him that, he'd become one of the highest paid players at the club. And Liverpool just need to ensure they don't destabilize the club. They don't break their transfer budgets by too much. They have to look at who's coming up for renewals, what kind of impact that's going to have on morale in the dressing rooms, etc. But it is a deal that Liverpool are exploring. I think Grizz Khan, I've been told, said that Jurgen Klopp has spoken with Saul Niguez about the move. That wouldn't surprise me at all. Saul Niguez is very encouraged about coming to Liverpool. It isn't a done deal between the player and the club at this moment in time, but it has taken a step further forward over the past day or so, and it's one that Liverpool are pursuing heavily. In relation to Haaland, we know where that deal is. Haaland wants to join. Personal terms are agreed, or they're not going to be a problem. Whichever way around you want to believe, they mean the same bloody thing. That isn't an issue at all. He'd like to join. Roman Abramovich is driving this. He is pushing for it. He wants to bring Haaland to Stamford Bridge next season. Reports from the continent this afternoon have said that Roma has now given the green light to the £150 million transfer bid. It doesn't mean Chelsea will just bid that off the bat. I'd be very shocked if they did. They're likely to go in lower and try and negotiate that price down. Why would they not? Even rich clubs want to save money. They always try to do this. Rich people in general always want to save money. But really good updates, I think, and positive updates for Chelsea and the Liverpool fan base this afternoon. Where are you getting Haaland wants to join? What credible journos have said this? Seriously. Pretty much all of them. I swear, I don't know about you. Maybe it's actually quite a good comment. You're making me, it's like you're gaslighting me here. a lot of them. Whenever pretty much every credible journalist has used the phrase personal terms would be no issues. If personal terms are no issues, it means the player would join or would like to join, because that's what the personal terms are. It's we'll pay you X to join us. If they're no problem, then he wants to join. There doesn't have to be a quote that's like Haaland going, I would like to play for Chelsea. Him saying, if they offer me that much money, I'd go and play there. That's him saying he'd go and play there. That means he wants to join Chelsea. Doesn't mean he's discarding every other club in Europe. Because professional footballers tend not to work like that. Bruno Fernandez's are a rarity where they say, I only want to join Man United. And every now and then that happens. Cristiano Ronaldo was only ever going to leave Man United for Real Madrid. Haaland isn't in that ballpark. Haaland's like, I'd play for these 5 or 6 clubs. Who's going to offer me what I want? Chelsea have done it. He says he want to join and go and play for them. That's it. But pretty much every single credible journalist out there has confirmed this in one way, shape, or form. They all use different language. They all use semantics, different ways of spinning it. But it all amounts and boils down to the same thing. Haaland would play for Chelsea. Facts. I think Patrick Berger confirmed it yesterday. My brother, I don't know where you seek your news from, but I know I ain't making that up. In fact, I don't make anything up, but that's one thing I'm more than certain on. I haven't misread. I swear to God. I love it when sometimes people say that. Terry, you must have made that up. Yeah. I am Fabrizio Romano. Fjortoff lives in my garage. Patrick Berger's in me loft as a prisoner, and I make him tweet all this news out. I went across Europe and I stole them all. I brought them back to the UK, and they're all tied up at different points in my house as hostages, and I make them create news. Next on the show, my brother's here. Ram's in the house. What you saying, Ram?
Yeah, I'm just going to talk about the Saul news, and I'm very, very happy that it looks like it's going to happen. He is a very, very, very good player. Very, very, very durable. Very durable. He hasn't got an injury. I think he only had a muscular injury this season and missed about 5 games. And very complete as well. When he was younger, he used to play as a CDM when he was, I think, it's Valladolid. And then Simeone molded him into more of a box-to-box, and he'd be a perfect replacement for Gini Wijnaldum, and possibly, I think he'll be an upgrade. He'd definitely be an upgrade. I think he's a much technically gifted player than Gini Wijnaldum, and he's a better dribbler than him as well. So yeah, all in all, it's a great deal. It's a great deal for Liverpool, and just hopefully we can get this over the line.
It certainly would be. And listen, I'm only going by people's comments in here. You know, Grizz can't. Thing with Grizz is I know Grizz knows people, and Liverpool are making these inroads. And look, no one knows if he's number 1 target, number 2 target. You're definitely talking to Basuma as an option. Yuri Tillemans, you've been speaking to. Very, very keen on Yuri Tillemans. I don't see you signing more than 1, unless the Ox and Naby both left as well this summer. I can only imagine one of these players coming in, but who knows? Honestly, I think it'd be a massive upgrade for your midfield. If you were to get rid of Naby Keita, the Ox, and Gini, and you brought in Saul and Yuri Tillemans, and I might be living in Cloud Cuckoo Dreamland here. That's a hell of an improvement, in my opinion.
It is a hell of an improvement. Like, if you think about it, he's only 26, 27, so we can easily get about 4 or 5 years out of him. And also it'll be a nice blending in period, because once he starts to get older, all the younger players within the squad, so your Curtis Jones, can come in when they're a lot more older, a lot more experienced, and it'll be a nice blending in period for the manager that's taking over Jurgen Klopp. So all in all, I think is a perfect signing for us, honestly. They're the right age and the right sort of caliber of player as well.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I totally agree with you, mate, there. I really do. In terms of the Haaland news, you know, maybe coming to Chelsea, how do you feel about that? Do you think that this is a deal that can get done?
Yeah, it definitely can. Chelsea have the money, no doubt about that. It's it's a case of when they're going to do it. If they're going to do it quite late, then it will be highly unlikely, because obviously Dortmund like to do their transfers early and then prepare for the season ahead. But yeah, if they can definitely do it. If they will do it, then it's gonna be one heck of a season next season, and it will be a tough challenge for the likes of City if they sign if they don't sign Harry Kane, and Liverpool if they don't sign a striker to compete with Chelsea, because obviously Chelsea their defensive structure is already pretty good, and having Haaland in there is going to be a tough prospect for everyone else.
Yeah, it certainly is. It certainly is. It's going to be a very, very difficult one indeed for everybody to compete with. But listen, we've got an update coming tomorrow morning on Harry Kane and Jack Grealish. So, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you're tuning into the Done Deal show tomorrow morning at 9:30. Big news in there, and top class journalist coming on to give us his thoughts and feelings on that. Ram, top man, thanks for coming back on the terrace, mate. Speak to you again soon. Thank you very much indeed. Everyone who's tuning in, we're on just under 600 likes. There's 1,700 people watching. We should be able to get this. There's two things I'd love to see from you guys tonight. You're clearly tuning in for good reasons. Let's get this past 750 likes while we're live on the air, and share this stream with your friends, share it with your family, football communities. Let's get it past 2,000 live viewers. That would be amazing. Micah Johnson here with a super chat says, KDB, Grealish, Fernandinho, Thiago, Saul, Fabinho, Kante, Jorginho, Havertz, Pogba, Bruno, Camavinga. They are all elite, to be honest. Champions League to remain in England again. And I can't disagree with that. You actually look at the potential quality of the main four of the top six going into next season. It's astronomically good. It's astronomically good. Of course, Paul Pogba's got to stay as part of that, or if he does leave, a colossal replacement coming in. But 71% do not believe that Liverpool midfield would be the best in the Premier League. We got another super chat that's just come in here that says, I mean, Haaland is now trending on social media as well, based on the news that we're speaking, not based on this stream, but based on the news about the releasing of there's lots of different words, releasing of the funds, etc. Jared Wilson here says, looking like Haaland and Rice to Chelsea are the main two targets. We'll spend 220 million last summer, so we could do similar, or a 200 million pound spend on those two. Listen, you've got the money. I think, yeah, the Declan Rice move is still something that you're looking at. Dean Jones broke the Declan Rice news earlier on today. Dean will be back on Thursday on the terrace to talk about that in more detail. Chelsea really want Rice. He's a huge target for them. Could somewhere in the region of 80 odd million pounds. He may end up costing £200,000 a week in salary. Chelsea will try and make inroads into that this summer. There is no doubt about it at all. They will definitely try. And if they bring in those two players and on top of what they've got, Chelsea are a dangerous prospect going into next season. There's no doubt about it at all. Next caller on the terrace, we're going to go to here. Father of Timo Werner is going to be next on the show. Welcome back to the terrace. What do you want to say?
Yeah, finally some light at the end of the tunnel, Terry, after we've been starving and really hungry in the street, feeding for Haaland news, and finally at least there's something that we can eat, and yeah, it feels like this is kind of nearly halfway there. I wouldn't say like a nearly done, but it's a massive positive after the news that is surrounding about Haaland. Regarding the Areola fee, we all know that's going to happen anyway, but all I can care about is now if we're going to get Haaland, and if we do get him, great, and then might be another player that you said, another player like Tchouaméni or maybe Declan Rice. That's going to be the icing on the cake. But yeah, man, it feels good to be a Chelsea fan right now.
Yeah, I bet it does. I bet it does feel really, really good. Great call. Thanks for coming on the terrace, mate, and having your say. Thank you. If you want to phone in, the link is in the live comment section. Next on the show, we're going to go to Arthur Saunders. Arthur Saunders is here. Welcome to the terrace. What are you saying? You're on mute if you're trying to talk, buddy. Arthur isn't there to speak. So we're going to go to JV instead. JV, who's a Chelsea fan, I believe. What do you want to say?
Hi, Terry. How are you?
I'm very, very well. What's on your mind?
So, I think Haaland coming to Chelsea is going to really elevate the Premier League if it really happens. And just wanted to know how you're feeling, Terry, after the loss.
I feel all right, mate. It's not great, but I feel okay. I feel okay.
And do you think this is going to affect Saka like in a big way in his career?
No. I've seen players miss penalties and go on to do amazing things. So, David Beckham didn't miss a penalty but got sent off and was vilified by the entire country in the summer of 1998. And he went on and Man United the next season nearly won the treble. And I think he comes second or third in the Ballon d'Or. Saka is talented, he's smart, he's hardworking. Those things combined, he's unstoppable. Saka's going to have an amazing career, and he's going to kill it.
Thanks, Terry. That was really nice. And just one last thing. Do you consider? I mean, how do you rate a player as world class according to you? What do you like? What are your terms for world class?
It's a really interesting question. So, of course, ability plays a big part of that. It's ability coupled with the outputs within your particular position. They're really key. And then I start looking at how you perform in clutch games, clutch moments. Not solely all on you, you've got the whole team. I look at those three things as my main factor. And then on top of that, you look at longevity. How long have you been at that level? So if you have a player that's scoring 10 goals a season, 3 years, and then in one season scores 45, doesn't instantly become world class because you have that great season. If the following year is back up to that level, then I think you can factor that in. So I think they're the main areas. It's longevity, stroke consistency, outputs depending on your position, ability, and then performance in clutch games. I think those four things are the main factors that I would look at. My brother, thank you very much for coming on and having your say. Really appreciate that, JV. Top man. Thank you. Thank you indeed. Next on the show, we're going to go to Don 10 or Faisal. But Don 10 is his username. What are you saying? You're on mute if you're trying to speak, buddy. No, Don 10 is not there. So we're going to go to Raphael. Raphael's with us now. What are you saying, Raphael?
Hi, Terry. Yeah, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. What's on your mind?
Not much. In terms of Miguel, well, the Liverpool intros, I see Liverpool fans are quite excited about this player, but he didn't play much last season. Actually, in the last 2 seasons, he hasn't played much. I mean, I hear talks about, if he comes to Liverpool, then their midfield would be the best in the Premier League. I mean, for a player who hasn't produced in the last 2 years, I'm not sure what to think about him. I mean, he's a really good player. Like, on his day, he's really good. But for the last 2 years, I haven't seen much of him. I don't know how much Liverpool supporters do you watch the Spanish league or La Liga, but yeah.
It's a fair point, and Liverpool fans, all have their views and their opinions on that. I personally think he's a very, very talented, very talented player.
I think he's very talented too.
Just my view, just my opinion in relation to that. I think he's a hell of a lot better than. I don't think he gets anywhere near as much credit as he deserves as a player. But then again, I don't watch La Liga as much as you do, being a Real Madrid fan. So I do appreciate your opinion. Raphael, thank you for calling in and having your say. Really do appreciate that. Let's do some more of your comments that are coming through here. I want to know what more you were saying. Football Theatre says Chelsea is going nowhere next season. Winning the Champions League was just one of the lucky. Nothing special. Was a bit lucky. Nothing special about it. Tuchel will have the sack soon. Haaland Premier League. Basically, what you're saying is Haaland will flop in the Premier League and Tuchel won the Champions League by luck. Come on. You do not seriously believe that, bro. Even I can see through that dead banter. Come on, man. You do not believe that. Not for a single second. Not for a single second do you believe that. One, it wasn't lucky. You don't get lucky in that many games on the bounce. You just don't. The system improved. But anyway, I suppose everyone's entitled to an opinion, I suppose. Even if they are a little bit warped at times. Terry, who is better, Saul or Tillemans? If I was picking for Man United, I would pick Saul Niguez. I am biased because I've always wanted him, so I'm a little bit biased towards it. But if my club signed Yuri Tillemans tomorrow, I wouldn't be upset or annoyed with it per se. What I would say to you is though that Yuri Tillemans still sometimes is a bit hit and miss in games. You can have some matches where he's pivotal, and there are a lot of others where I find him to be a little bit ineffective. Like he doesn't control the game, and his position is to control games. That is his job. Terry, who's better, Sancho, Mahrez, or Son? Wow, that's a very good question for me. Right now, I would probably say Mahrez, followed by Son, followed by Sancho. Although pound for pound, if you their age, Sancho is light years ahead of both of them. I think by the end of this season, we're going to rejig that, and Sancho is going to be top. Sancho is going to absolutely kill it in the Prem. He's going to kill it. He's coming home. He's coming home, literally, which is amazing for him. Terry, why am I getting timed out for showing Arsenal love? Oh my God. I don't know who timed you out. I don't know who timed you out. But refrain from using the word rent boys in the comment section, mate. We don't want none of that here, please. Let's have a look at some more comments. Son is overrated. I wouldn't say Son's overrated. I think that's a little bit disingenuous to Son. He's a top player. There's no doubt about that. He is a top player. So I think we should be respecting Son as much as we can, really and truly. Terry, do you think the penalty miss will derail Sancho's confidence? No, I don't think it will. I don't necessarily think it works like that. One penalty miss. I think there'll be frustrations, but they'll all bounce back. They're young. They're such talented lads. And they'll be fine. They'll be absolutely fine. I'm pretty sure of it. I can't remember an example of a player missing a penalty at a big tournament in modern day football where their career is fizzled out afterwards. So I don't think it's going to happen at this point. Terry, would you be jealous if we signed Saul? Of course I would. Terry, do an interview with Fabrizio. Listen, I think Fabrizio is great. I love our lineup for our Done Deal show that we have. If we got Fabrizio on, what would he tell us that he doesn't tell the United Stand, AFTV, and doing his own show each week? Nothing. It would be the same information. So that's one of the reasons why I don't angle for that. Like I've had Christoph Torreira on. I'm going to get him on, hopefully get him on in a couple of weeks' time because it's different. He's not on streams every day. And that's not a disrespect of Fabrizio. Fabrizio is killing it and he's a ledge. But if he's on the United Stand on a Monday and then on my show on a Tuesday, he's going to say the same things, right? So actually, what's new about it? You know, it's not a difference. I listen to lots of different journalists because sometimes they all give you the same base news, but they give you their reading of it, their thoughts, their feelings, their opinions. The debate around it's different, but to have the same person on every single person's channel, what's the differential? Do you get what I mean? It just doesn't make sense to me to do that. Terry, who do you think will win this season's Golden Boot? Oh, I have no idea. If Haaland or Kane, if they're both, if Kane moves to City, if Haaland's at Chelsea, I'd love to see that shootout. Either of them could win it. No doubt about it at all. Terry, do you think Saul will happen? Right now, I'd say 60%. I'm 60% sure that it would. That's what I would say. I would say that. Terry, does Haaland remind you of Van Nistelrooy? I think Haaland is a better baller than Van Nistelrooy, as in his overall game is better, but strikers like Van Nistelrooy don't really get produced anymore, so it was a different era, so it's hard to judge. But in terms of goal machine, he does. I think he could have a better record in England than Van Nistelrooy, who got, I think his goal scoring record for Manchester United was just out of this world. Out of this world. I'm going to go and take a look at it now because I don't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, he got 150 goals in 219 games for Manchester United. Colossal. Absolutely colossal goal scorer he was. Colossal. Terry, do you think Ollie will get the best out of Sancho? I don't see why not. He gets the best out of Pogba. We've got the most consistent Paul Pogba since he's been at the club. The best out of Shaw. You know, the best out of Bruno. Cavani. Took him a bit of time to get fit. All guns blazing. The development of Greenwood's been great. Fabrizio costs too much. It's not about cost. Like, I can afford to pay to get Fabrizio onto the show. That isn't the problem. It's just, as I say, what am I getting? I don't seriously, and I mean this with respect. Imagine I pay the fee. I know what the fee is for him to tell me the same stuff he said the day before on someone else's channel. Why am I paying for stuff I already know? It'd be nice to have a conversation with him, but I want something. I want an opinion that you've not given out. I want news and or an opinion that you haven't given anywhere else already if I'm paying for it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. If you want imagine coming to Terry, we want you to come on a show. I charge. Not YouTubers, but say TV, we want you to come on. What do you want to give? Oh, we want you to give the same opinion that you gave on your YouTube channel last night. I'd do it, but I'd be like, why don't you just show my fucking clip? Why would you pay me? The information's already there. So yeah, that's my view on it. That's my view on things. It's just, what am I getting for that? It's not even about recycled news. It's just, it's the recycled opinion. I love listening to him. I follow him. I watch him on Don Robbie's show like once, twice a week. I listen to it. I've watched his Twitch show. I listen to him. It's not about, it's just, I've listened to it. I've got the information now. I don't need to pay you for it because you've already given it to me. Why would I pay £250 up to £500, depending on how long you want him on, to tell me what he just said on his Twitch stream, which is free? Why would I pay for it? It's mad. Why would think about it logically and out loud? The only time you pay for something is if you're getting something exclusive. But then he's a lot more expensive. So yeah, it is what it is. Listen, I love what he's carved out for himself is amazing, but I'm just answering your questions here. Terry, which Prem defender can pocket Haaland? I don't know. Maguire and Van Dijk. I'm just throwing names out there. I have no idea. I haven't really thought about it, to be fair, but I'm just throwing that out there. Terry, Henderson or De Gea? Neither. I think De Gea needs to go, but I think we need better than Henderson. I'm a neither guy. I'm not even on the fence. I'm supporting neither. Sell them both and buy or black. That's what I'd do if I was in charge, but I'm not, so it don't matter. Terry, who do you prefer at United, Camavinga, or I don't even know how to say that name, so I'm not even going to bother. But yeah, I don't know the other guy. I know Camavinga. Big Camavinga update coming tomorrow. Big Camavinga update coming tomorrow morning on the Football Terrace, 9:30 a.m. You'll see the link go up later. Make sure you're tuning in. Make sure you're there. Make sure you are there. Terry, do you think Haaland will beat the Chelsea goal scoring record? I think Haaland, if he signs for Chelsea or City in the Prem, more likely Chelsea. I'm giving you a football thing here. If he's fit, by 30 games, he breaks a single season goal scoring record in the Prem. He breaks it within 30 games. He is that good. That good. Terry, what's the chances of Chelsea signing Haaland this summer? If I'm going to put a percentage on it, I'm going to say 70%. I think it's 70%. And if Roman puts the bid in, he's yours. If you don't sign in this summer, it's because Chelsea have not bid enough money. That's it. Or you didn't bid at all. But it's a Chelsea decision now. The same with Liverpool with Saul Niguez. It's a Liverpool decision now. Everyone who has tuned in to the terrace this evening, thank you. Make sure you've hit that like button, past that 750 mark, which is absolutely amazing. Thank you. We're back with more. We've got an amazing Lokonga video coming very, very soon for you as well. Arsenal fans, if anyone wants to learn about Lokonga, make sure you're tuning in. It is fire. Absolute fire. Until next time, everybody, take care of yourselves. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again very